It is just the most incredible feeling. It really is. This is all new equipment. These are Mercury M6 drives, 2 wins in the Cowes Torquay, CMI manufactured tailpipes.
I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe.
This is a seagull.
So during a race, what are you looking for? Fantastic. Yeah, it must be something else.
It is, and we have a 4th seat, so there you go, Tim.
Thank you. So just like that, free of charge, straight into a Class 1 boat.
My mother's brother was Don Ched, so he's my uncle.
This looks very expensive.
Yes. And I do look at that and think, shit, that was me.
Yeah.
Been disqualified from being second in Cowes because we lost a crew member in Lyme Bay. One of the things that we'll be talking about on the intercom is how tight is the turn. One of the guys literally jumped out of the boat.
Something you said?
Probably.
It's not often you get access to an historic powerboat that's won the Cowes Torquay Cowes powerboat race twice.
And it's not often you get access to an individual that's won the Cowes Torquay Cowes race twice. But today that's exactly what we've got. Let's go behind these doors and see who we're talking about.
Just the most incredible feeling. It really is. We have an aluminium anchor.
Blue, green and
blue,
white.
Green and lots of white.
Yeah.
Simon Wood Power.
Have a song at the end.
Simon Wood Power. Team Mercury's a special, racing in Class 1, boat number 4, racing with Michael Froder and Per Bolter from Sweden.
Thank you very much.
Waterloo,
Okay.
I was defeated, you won the war.
Right, so we're here to talk about this boat.
Yep, so this is a 46 aluminium Cougar. It was built actually in 1982 on the Hamble, and I was at Cougar at the time.
Okay.
She's not got too many battle scars. Aluminium boats, they normally are welded on the bottom section here up to the chine, and then they're very light, here, very almost hollow aluminium. You can tell the difference in thickness. 6 mil on the bottom, 1.5 mil on the side.
Can I step on that?
Yes, that's the stepping point.
God, it didn't feel this tight last time. Maybe it's because I got my wallet in my pocket.
Have you had a good breakfast?
No. So we're in the cockpit.
In the office.
Yeah, this is where it all happens.
Almost hide behind the windscreen.
Yes.
You have nearly 30 feet of bow in front of you, so you see any water that may come across the bow quite a long time in advance.
You've got a warning.
You've got a warning, and if you see a big green wave rolling down the deck, then you duck down and just use that bit of protection, which is very. It hits the guys in the back seats.
Yeah.
But going along in this, on a rough day, sky, sea, a little bit of sort of tramping side to side, it is just the most incredible feeling. It really is.
So blue, green and
blue,
white.
Green and lots of white.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, it must be something else.
It is, yes. And it's you can't replicate it.
Do you get used to the speed, or does it always feel fast?
I think it always feels fast, and you also, and I think it's a vital thing, you have to respect it. You know, We talked about the fact that really you need to win by the smallest amount possible. You really need to try and drive as slowly as possible to win.
So what do you do to save weight?
Well, as you can see, I'm on a really strict diet. Here actually is an example of our fastidious drive for weight saving. So we have an aluminium anchor. We have an aluminium anchor. And a lot of people would say, well, aluminium, an anchor isn't going to work if it's aluminium. But these allegedly work very, very nicely. All aluminium, have a feel, very light.
Wow.
Very efficient, and it probably saves us 10 kilos.
It's very nice and light.
When you're running alongside a boat like that, and you look at the boat that's, and you'll agree with this, you look at the boat that's running alongside you and you think, God, they're getting a really good ride.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're getting beaten to shit.
Yeah.
And they're looking at you thinking,
Exactly,
they're getting a really good ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice and smooth, but it's harsh.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just coming out. It's out towards, just got a bit.
I know.
We'll talk about rivets. This is all riveted, and if you look down the boat, there are thousands of rivets.
There are.
And all of these rivets would have been put in by hand. You really can't imagine now anybody putting in all that labour. You couldn't really afford to build a boat like this.
When I see this, it reminds me of looking at the hull on the Titanic.
That's
all the
very
rivets.
nice.
It's there.
It's not got the same issues,
Yeah,
we
no.
hope. No.
Same end story.
She's a very, very tough boat.
Yeah.
Very reassuring to run.
How do you mean? The feeling?
The feeling, yeah. It has aluminium boats. When you hit a wave and you crash into a wave,
Yes.
you get a kind of a finite stop, if you like. With a composite boat, you get a little shimmy sometimes. There's no movement in this whatsoever.
Okay.
So it makes it quite harsh for the crew, but it also makes it very, very strong.
Okay.
And she's a conventional monohull with no steps.
Yeah.
So there's no strange handling vices or anything. It just runs straight and true. You'd imagine a metal boat as against a composite boat would be
Yeah.
heavier.
Right.
But she's also very light.
So what sort of weight are we talking?
Ooh. Dry boat, I think the bare hull is about 4.5 tons, something like that. Which for a 46-foot boat is pretty light.
46 feet. There aren't many boats racing of this size in the UK this year. I mean, it's probably only one bigger.
Yeah, there's only one that's bigger. Good Boy Vodka is a bit faster because she's a stepped hull. She's probably a little bit lighter.
Wouldn't you give her a good run for money?
Oh, we would. We'd definitely give her a good run for her money.
Yeah.
But we need some rough weather. We're going to be a rough weather team,
Right.
without a doubt. Big objective is Cowes. We'll do 2, maybe 3 Eucopra races in the lead up as shakedowns, because we've got new rigging and new equipment, and we want to know that she's a sound boat. To finish first you have to finish. There's a lot of luck and a lot of reliability needed.
Can you tell us what we're looking at and guide us through the controls, please, Simon?
Okay, so as we said, it's a 4-seat cockpit. It's a stand-up boat. So you sit, I say you sit, you crouch in the bolsters here, which are really snug, as you can see.
We're standing, right? Our feet are straight, yeah.
Yeah, they hold you, and we've got a suspended shock-absorbing floor.
Right.
Whilst you can't really feel it shock-absorbing, it does take some of the shock.
Yeah.
So I'm here on the starboard.
This is lovely. It's so padded, and it's so tight, hugging my hips. It's really tight.
And you get a kind of sense of security in here. My grandparents had a house in Cowes, and in the summer holidays I'd always stay there, and we'd go out in the little Boston whaler, jumping the wake from all the big boats that went past, which I guess was how I learnt really to drive a boat. You've got these little windscreens at the front here, water deflectors, and you hunker down. What you do really notice, though, is the wind pressure on your body.
Right.
If you can imagine being on a motorbike at 100 miles an hour,
I could try.
You get lots and lots of pressure on your chest. Open your car window when you're doing 100 and put your hand outside, you really feel the wind pressure.
Yeah.
So you feel that on your helmet, you feel it on the top of your body. So you try and hunker down.
At what sort of speeds do you begin to feel it?
Over about 80, really, it
Okay.
starts to become quite physical.
And you start hunkering?
Yeah, you start hunkering down.
Okay.
So I will be here on the starboard side holding the wheel. I have a chart, a mini chart and engine instruments, and I have the master fuel gauge here. The navigator, who's behind me here, he has his own chart plotter with a compass and auxiliary fuel gauges. As I said, you have to move the fuel in the boat to balance it. So we have fuel transfer pump switches here, and we have fuel flow indicators here on the dashboard, which are like little propellers that whiz round.
Yeah.
So you can see the fuel moving backwards.
You can see it's moving, literally.
Yeah. In the centre here, we have the gear shifts, and we have the throttles.
Are these new?
Yeah, these are new. These are Mercury digital shifts. Michael, who is on the port side, will be throttling. They're beautifully smooth, aren't they?
They're lovely.
Yeah, they're lovely.
There's no resistance. I mean,
No.
there's enough resistance.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Michael also has the trims here. So on your left hand, we have the trim tab switches and the outdrive switches. So you kind of hold the lever and then you just use your fingers to do the trimming.
You don't need to let go.
You mustn't let go. No. Then we have in the centre here, we have the trim indicators for the outdrives and the trim tabs that go up and down.
Okay.
We've got the master rev counters and switches. Then we've got multi-function gauges that will have oil pressure and water temperature. And then here we have water pressure, cooling water to the engines, which is pretty critical. And then engine instruments and start-stop keys and things.
So during a race, what are you looking for? What during a race when you're running? What are you actually doing?
When we're running, we're monitoring the revs. Michael will be monitoring engine instruments. I will be looking at the overview of the course. I'll also have a drawn course taped down on the dashboard here, because I really feel that to get to the end of a race, you need really to kind of intrinsically know where you're going. It's all very well relying on a chart plotter that says go from here to go to there, go to there, but you have to know where you're going. You have to know what the turn marks look like.
Yeah.
You have to know how tight the turns are. As you come into a turn, one of the things that we'll be talking about on the intercom is how tight is the turn? Is it a really big sweeping turn, or are we going to nip in, tuck round and make a tight turn? Obviously, if you go tighter, you slow down, and then also you have to trim the outdrives in a little bit to balance the boat.
And for the acceleration again.
For the acceleration again. Here we are at the business end, I guess. This is all new equipment. These are Mercury M6 drives, which are considered fairly bulletproof. Mercury do one bigger drive, the M8, but we feel that because the boat's fairly light, the M6 will be good. We have one enhancement, which is these drive showers. So we use the surplus cooling water from the engines to blow over the top of the outdrive to keep the gears in there cool. Because they're surface drives, you can imagine all the back of the boat here is out of the water and is dry, and the water only really runs along the centre of the gearbox here. So all of this is in a little bit of spray, but essentially not cooled. So the idea of these is to keep the outdrives dry and thus more reliable.
This looks very expensive.
Yes. Outdrives are £30,000 each, I guess. We've got propellers coming, which are going to be custom made for the boat from Mercury Racing. They are £12,000–14,000 for a pair.
Are you having 3?
We'll have spare sets, a spare
So you
set.
have 4?
We'll have 4 propellers.
Okay.
Yeah. They're too far down in the water to change them if you hit anything. We won't carry a spare on the boat.
Did you say £12,000–14,000 a pair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, for a pair, though. I thought you said each. That would have been crazy, but for a pair, that's good value.
Of course it is.
Yes.
It pales into insignificance against the fuel.
Yes.
Honey, honey, how you thrill me. Honey, honey.
You've been involved in the sport for a very long time.
Indeed.
What have you given back to the sport?
For quite a long time, I was the chairman of powerboat racing for the RYA when they used to look after the sport. And then when the RYA decided to pull out, I was one of the very founder members of UCOPRA.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I wrote most of the rules along with a lady called Annie Wallbank, who was an absolute pedant for detail and actually created the basis of them. I was also a founder member of the British Powerboat Racing Club in Cowes.
So when you're running at speed and it's rough, how violent does it get? What are the forces like on your body?
There's obviously a lot of beating up and down as the boat hits the water, but there's also quite a lot of side to side movement, which is why you're actually really snugged into here.
Yeah.
And everything is soft. You know, if you bash your elbows, it should all be soft. You don't want to come back bruised and actually take my feet off the ground and I wouldn't drop through it.
Was that
They were
tight?
that snug, yeah.
Yeah, because when you've got overalls.
Yeah, overalls, life jacket, it all gets quite bulky.
Yeah.
It's all quite compact. You know, you couldn't really make the cockpit much smaller than it is and still be able to operate efficiently.
You need elbow room.
Yeah, elbow room. And like I say, you're in there all nice and tight.
Yeah. After the Gosport race last year, Rich Jackson, who was on Dro Martini, there's a GPS just stuck up. He kept hitting his elbow on this GPS.
Yes.
The only bit I don't like about the boat is that corner there, because that got my elbow off St. Cat's and there was a bit of swearing. So.
What sort of injuries could you sustain? What are you looking at? Worst case? Yeah, Danny won't want this in the video at all. Just ask the question.
Okay, so here we are in the engine bay. This is very much a work in progress at the moment, rigging the boat. We've got 2 Mercury Racing quad cam 4-valve bi-turbo engines. They're V8 twin turbo, 9 litres each, and they're all aluminium, and they're the first engines that Mercury have made specifically for racing from their own tooling in these. They're dry sump engines, so there's no oil in the engine generally, and the oil is all in these tanks here where it's cooled and cleaned, and then it passes into the engine. You'll see that the engines are staggered, and the reason for that is it moves the center line of the engines closer together so you can get the propellers close together, which makes the boat a little bit faster and more stable.
Did you mention the horsepower?
No.
So on the UCOPRA entry, Simon, what sort of horsepower could we expect to see?
About 2,200 in total.
Yes. And the age of these engines?
These engines were, strangely enough, originally in this boat, And then they went into the Good Boy Vodka Outer Limits for a couple of years. And then Michael bought them back from Rob. So they're actually about 4 or 5 years old, but they're quite low hours and they have been looked after and rebuilt.
These are the ones Rob took out.
Yes,
Replaced them last year.
he did indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, early in the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got back from Italy, there were some new ones in crates.
Yeah.
Remember, Terry? Yeah.
Those boxes are shit, aren't they?
These engines have been to Cowes and Torquay a few times and done a few Ucopa races. But like I say, they've been really well looked after by Charlie at Nortex.
Yeah, I've seen Charlie rubbing them down with some protective liquid.
Oh, yes.
Sprayed many a time.
Yep, that's it.
Looking after them right enough them.
And like his babies.
Rubbing them with care.
Hey, Tez!
Hi, Tez. Hi, Bob.
We're hauling ass.
Charlie, what is it?
Bollocks.
Who's going to be in the boat at the races?
So this is a 4-seat boat. At the moment, we have 3 people. So there's Michael Froder, the owner, who's driving, or sorry, he's throttling.
Yeah.
I'm driving, and we have Per Bolter, who's one of Michael's Swedish chums who works for Mercury Racing in
Okay.
Sweden. He's our 3rd guy, and we have a 4th seat. So there you go, Tim.
Thank you. So just like that, free of charge, straight into a Class 1 boat. So for the right price, then a sponsor or
Yeah, I think
4th seat is available.
The 4th seat could be available.
Yeah.
Michael, though, is very conscious that we don't want someone who has no boating experience, because I'm sure you can imagine to go out in something like this on a rough day is actually quite onerous.
You've got the 100-mile race today for the Harmsworth Trophy. Have you ever competed in the Harmsworth before?
I haven't, no. I'm quite excited about the prospect, and I think it's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, the weather looks dodgy.
The weather looks very dodgy. I think it'll be down at the far end of the course, a lot rougher than we all anticipate. Although I've had my spies down there and they say it's good at the moment, so
really?
We'll see.
What have been the high points of your powerboating career?
1984, the second round Britain race. I was an engineer on a team, and then suddenly I found myself put in the boat. So there I was as a 20-year-old racing in Class 1, and it was a lucky break, but it actually probably set me up for the rest of my career, because then I went to work for Cougar in the handball. Then I ended up in Italy racing in Class 1 in 1987 and 1988. We finished 2nd in the European Championship.
Nice.
In a Cougar catamaran called Baby Creshy. Ever since then, I've been fortunate that I've been lucky enough to race with people on a kind of a semi-professional basis, and boating became my career.
So we know you've been involved in the sport a really long time, but you are very connected, aren't you?
Yes, my mother's brother was Don Shedd, so he's my uncle, and in my formative years I guess he was a little bit of a hero to me and a mentor to me, and all I ever wanted to do was to be involved in powerboat racing. Yeah, we have a family history with powerboat racing.
For those that don't know that are watching, could you just explain who Don Shed is, please?
So Don Shed was one of the early powerboat designers who got involved in the Cowes Torquay race from the very first one in 1962-63, and he carried on the legacy that was really started by Sonny Levy of designing deep V hulls, and he designed lots of powerboats, notably the Enfield aluminium boats and the CUV aluminium boats, and he of course was the principal naval architect for Sunseeker for very many years.
Did you have a favourite boat that was designed by Don Shed as a boy, or even now?
I think the aluminium CUV boats that were built in Viareggio in Italy are just absolutely incredible, and I was fortunate enough to race for quite a few years in Cinzano, which is one of the iconic boats.
I love powerboat exhausts as much as I love salad sandwiches.
And I love salad sandwiches.
What do we have here, Simon?
So we have here some American CMI manufactured tailpipes. So these go on the back of the turbocharger, and you can see that they're double skinned so that they're water cooled, but the water never mixes with the exhaust. The water comes out right at the back. So they keep nice and cool so you won't burn yourself on them, but they keep the exhaust dry. So she should sound very nice, and they're obviously polished stainless steel.
Banana in the tailpipe.
We're not gonna fall for a banana in the tailpipe.
You're not gonna fall for the banana in the tailpipe?
It should be more natural, brother. It should flow out like this. Look, man, I ain't falling for no banana in my tailpipe. See, that's more natural for us. You've been hanging out with this dude too long.
Shit in the tank, why, would it help?
It's all about the sound, right?
Yeah.
It's all about the sound.
The sound is all about the sound.
They should be very loud, but of course the sound's left behind. When you go very fast, it all goes out the back, and we can't enjoy it as much as you guys.
Don't worry, we'll be there to capture it.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we are. The whole package at the moment is £250,000.
Yeah.
It's a busy road, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now a car's coming.
Yeah, man.